Another bloody 72 hours across Jamaica leaves 7 dead and at least 2 nursing injuries.
Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
The police had their hands full from Saturday through to Monday as crime scene investigators tagged body after body in violent crime after crime. The body of a Clarendon businessman was found with several chop wounds close to his home at Darkingsland in Colonel's Ridge in the upper section of the parish on Saturday the 29th of February. The deceased has been identified as 56-year-old Amos Adams, a shopkeeper of Darkingsland in Colonel's Ridge. Reports are that on Friday at about 11 p.m., Adams was last seen closing his shop. He, however, failed to arrive at his home as usual. His wife became concerned and a report was made to the police. Further reports are that the following day at about 7 p.m., Adams' body was found along a roadway close to his home with multiple chop wounds. The body was removed to the morgue and a post-mortem examination is to be conducted. Meanwhile, Adams' motor vehicle with blood stains was found in a section of the Colonel's Ridge community. The police, who are yet to establish a motive for the killing, are continuing their probe into the development. Crime scene investigators in St. James were forced to scurry to the scene of a crime on Saturday morning, where a craft vendor was shot and killed and a security guard shot and injured during an early morning gun attack at a car wash across the road from a Spanish hotel in Montego Bay, St. James. The deceased has been identified as 50-year-old craft trader Carlton Morrison, otherwise called Tarzan or Pinnacle, of a Westgate Hills, St. James address. According to the police, about 7:30 a.m., Morrison, who sells craft items in the vicinity of the hotel daily, was parked on the compound of the car wash when he was pounced upon by 2 gunmen who shot him several times. The police believe Morrison was the target of the attack and that the 27-year-old security guard, who is employed at a nearby hotel, was caught by a stray bullet. The 2 men were taken to hospital where Morrison was pronounced dead while the security guard was admitted. Morrison was reportedly shot and injured on a previous occasion during an attack in the Somerton community of St. James. In St. Elizabeth, a 65-year-old woman was allegedly killed by a man 11 years her senior. 65-year-old Patsy Davidson-Powell was found with her throat slashed, allegedly by a 76-year-old farmer who lives with his wife and the children in Junction, St. Elizabeth, but has a child with the deceased. The accused was taken into custody in connection with the murder of the woman, who was a livestock farmer of Exton District in Junction. According to the police, shortly after 6 p.m. on Saturday, Davidson-Powell's daughter, who lives next door to her mother's house, came home and noticed that the lights inside her parents' house were on and went to investigate. She saw her mother lying on her back with a severe injury to the throat. The police later arrived and the body of the slain woman was taken to the morgue for a post-mortem. Investigators say they received information that the accused was allegedly caught abusing the deceased inside her home earlier that evening. Meanwhile, investigators over in St. Mary were kept active as a double murder rocked Montego Bay, as 2 men were shot dead on Fort George Road by gunmen traveling in a motor car on Saturday night. The deceased have been identified as 34-year-old Damian Wilson, a laborer of Purcell Lane, and 55-year-old Donovan Hafizula, a laborer of Fort George Road, both in Montego Bay. Reports are that some men were sitting in front of a shop at about 9:40 p.m. when armed men alighted from a white and grey motor car. The assailants opened fire on the group, hitting Wilson and Hafizula before fleeing the scene in the motor car. The wounded men were rushed to the Montego Bay Hospital, where Wilson was pronounced dead on arrival, and Hafizula died while being treated. The police said a 3rd man narrowly escaped injury at the scene of the shooting. Investigators also reported that during the processing of the scene, 16 9mm spent casings, 1 warhead, and 2 blood samples were found. A probe is ongoing into the shooting incident. These incidents were followed up on Monday morning when a Chinese businessman and his guard were slain in a brazen mobile robbery. The St. James police on Monday took 2 men into custody following a brazen mid-morning incident in which a popular Chinese businessman and his personal security guard were shot and killed outside a bank across from the Church Street police station in downtown Montego Bay. The dead men have been identified as Kenneth Kenilai, the operator of the Barnett Street-based Cash Smart supermarket, and Carl Reed, a Chinese national who was also in the vehicle with the deceased, reportedly sustained injuries but survived the attack. According to police reports, about 11 a.m., Lai, Reed and the other men were on their way to the bank, which is located at the corner of King and Church Street to deposit money. As they stopped in the vicinity of the bank, 2 men dressed in hoodies with handkerchiefs around their faces walked up to the minivan, pointed handguns at them and demanded money. Lai, who was driving the vehicle, reportedly attempted to drive away, but the men opened fire on them. They crashed into another vehicle, leaving them at the mercy of the gunmen, who kept firing at them. According to one onlooker, one of the gunmen reached into the crashed vehicle and removed a knapsack believed to be laden with cash. The men then fled the scene, leaving the blooded Lai and Reed dying in the blood-soaked vehicle. These are just the latest killings in the country, which is currently experiencing a 12% increase in murders so far this year. Latest data from the Police High Command show a 12% increase in murders so far this year. Some 233 cases of murder were recorded between the 1st of January and the 29th of February, compared to 209 during the same period last year. The St. Andrew South Police Division, which is under a state of emergency, recorded 28 murders, the highest for the 2-month period, followed by St. Andrew North with 27, St. Catherine South with 22, and Clarendon with 20. There was a 285% increase in murders in St. Andrew North. St. James and Westmoreland, which are under a state of emergency, recorded major reductions in murder. Some 104 illegal guns and 14,000 rounds of ammunition were seized by the security forces during the 2 months. There were reductions in all major crimes such as shootings, rape, aggravated assault, robbery, break-ins, and larceny.
Teach them! Hey, yo, hello! Send the message and make it reach them. It's teach them. Right here, Warlord representing.
Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment below. Remember to like and share the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. Follow me on social media and check out the suggested videos on screen. This is Teach saying, until next time, walk good, my friends.